there is a triumph of the human spirit in direct selling. And I don't mean that to sound like a televangelist, right? On a pledge drive. I mean that in the most, I think, deep way, because you can find those shreds of energy and extrovertedness and connection with people to whom you sell and to people with whom you collaborate.
Hey there, and welcome to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam Hind, and I am so honored that you've chosen to join me here today for what I know is a very special episode. If you're in the direct selling industry in any capacity, whether you are in the field growing a business, perhaps at the start of that journey, or you've been in this industry for a long time, or maybe you're in corporate right now and you are leading people and leading a company and wanting to see it thrive in 2026, this episode is going to be a really impactful and powerful one for all of you. Today, I'm introducing you to a very special human being who is behind the scenes fighting not just to see this industry survive, but thrive in an incredible way. The amazing Dave Grimaldi, CEO of the Direct Selling Association of America. Dave in this episode talks about not only his own history and past and why he is so passionate about helping this industry thrive. But more importantly, he talks about the past of this industry, where we are today and where we're going. He opens up and sheds some light on some of the things that are happening behind the scenes that maybe you've heard whispers about, some of the political challenges that are being experienced in the industry around the world right now. But more importantly, he shares what the Direct Selling Association is doing and what people like him are standing for and how they are fighting for your business and the business that you represent to go ahead in leaps and bounds. So I'm not going to talk anymore because I know that this interview is going to do all of that for me, but grab pen and paper out, ready to rock and roll, because today, my friend, you are going to hear about some amazing things that are going on behind the scenes. And if that doesn't inspire you to get behind this industry that we know and love so much, I don't know what will. So introducing the amazing Dave Grimaldi. Well, welcome back to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I am so honored and privileged to be joined today by the amazing Dave Grimaldi, CEO of the Direct Selling Association of America. Welcome on in.
Sam, thank you for having me. The honor is mine. I have heard so much about you and all of the incredible content and people and things that you surface. So I am honored to be part of this. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And Dave, I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about the work that you're doing at the moment, the direction of the Direct Selling Association. Everyone who listens to this podcast, of course, is very invested in this industry, very keen to hear about the work that's going on behind the scenes. And I've always been a big advocate and fan for the work that the Direct Selling Association does, as many of our followers know. And so as the CEO, I'd love to get to know you a little bit better, though. You have got an interesting background. Do you want to share a little bit about how you ended up as CEO of the DSA and what your history with the industry is?
Absolutely. And it's a fun and unpredictable life story. And it goes something like this. So I'm sitting in almost the center of Washington, D.C., inside the city. Where I'm sitting, I was born and raised about a mile from where I'm sitting right now. I love the nation's capital. I love its history. I love our museums. We get all of the four seasons equally. It has incredible restaurants. It's really grown into this international destination, cosmopolitan place. And from here, I will try to go somewhat quickly to my first experience with direct selling, and that came in college. I'm here in DC. I wanted to go experience California. I'd seen it in the movies, the culture, the scenery, everything. It was like going to a different planet. This was obviously before the internet, before mobile phones, everything. And I told my parents I wanted to go out there. We found an incredible 10,000 student school, Loyola Marymount University, right in LA, smaller than the big ones, smaller than UCLA, but bigger than the little more specialized liberal arts ones. Went there, and really, Sam had my parents basically had a 1-year funding plan for me, and then we didn't have a plan. It fell to me to do this big bold step. My parents could get me through freshman year, and I had to find a way to finance my following 3 years. And I waited tables about 3 nights a week. I found a restaurant the second I got there. Didn't have a car, had to get a car. It's Los Angeles. But it wasn't enough. And a wonderful friend of mine approached me, who I got to know in the first couple of months, and kind of started to share and overshare a little bit about my circumstances. And he said, I'm going to let you in on a little opportunity, little idea. And he said, I don't know what it'll lead to, but he said, I'm happy to surface this with you. And it was selling ACN, wireline phone service. And he had a downline of existing students, and I would have been the only freshman. And he said, the campus is largely covered, but I'm going to give you a couple freshman dorms and a couple fraternity and sorority houses, and go have at it. Here is how you pitch it. Here is how you discuss it. Here is what the services. Here are the services we offer. And Sam, necessity and fear is a motivator. And I was afraid of not making it back sophomore year, and I drove a truck through it, and I just completely gobbled up large swaths of our campus, saved people money. One of the things I like to remember is a woman who came up to me in the dining hall, and we're all sitting at the same table. A friend of mine introduces me to her, and she says, "Wait, I know your name." And she says, "Are you the guy with the phone service?" And I said, "I think I am." "Well, tell me what you know." And she said, "Well, my father called me to ask why the phone bill was all of a sudden lower in whatever particular month that was." And Sam, that's gratifying, because I'm saving my friends and classmates money. I am generating income to help myself out. And I found parts of myself through direct selling that I didn't know existed. They may not have existed, but they were born through this opportunity and through my need to be entrepreneurial and to go out and to earn for myself. Fast forward, college ends, law school back here in DC. I then jump into senior roles on Capitol Hill in the U.S. House of Representatives, with an incredible opportunity where I was with one of the main leadership offices in Congress. So on the floor for every vote. It was during the Obama administration. So getting to know his team, his senior team, and then entering the Obama administration as chief of staff at a regulatory agency. And then I did what a lot of people in the city do, is you quote unquote go downtown, meaning you leave government and you go into the private sector, but you do it on the advocacy side. So communications, messaging, advocacy, lobbying, law, you jump on the other side with all of this information and knowledge that you have learned being on the inside of the US federal government. And I have been just blessed to work for amazing companies, incredible industries, all of them pretty much rooted in some form of technology. And before this, I was at the Blockchain Association, which is extremely different in almost every way than direct selling, except for the kind of libertarian ethos of I can make my own way.
Yeah.
I can use what's in me. If you're a person of faith, I can use what God gave me to go out and chart a course and carve a path, and what's mine is mine. And blockchain and crypto technology is very much like that, right? I can store my funds in a self-hosted wallet away from a centralized banking institution. It's mine. It's digital. I hold the keys. Direct selling, very similar. I want to go out and I want to see what I'm made of, and I want to enrich myself and the people around me. And I don't want to be told how to do it or when to do it. And that plays into our independent contractor mantra. But coming back to the channel many, many years later, after college, is a beautiful piece of life serendipity that I certainly didn't anticipate, didn't plan for it. But it allows me, Sam, and I promise I'll stop after this, it allows me to speak truth to power when I am talking to elected officials and senior regulators. I can say, I know the power of what direct selling provides to Americans and people outside of this country because I lived it. And I know there are guardrails, and some of them are pretty good and pretty meaningful, that definitely put checks on how I talk about it to other people. But I'm talking about my own story. I'm not pitching it and I'm not recruiting on it. I'm just talking about what it did for me. And it allows me to tell that from the heart, to share that story in a way that's very meaningful and intimate to me. And I like that very much.
Yeah, so good. You and I have actually got a very similar background. I started my first direct selling business when I was in my high school years, which would be same as college years in the US. And I love what you said about how it taught you things and gave you skills that you probably would have got no other way. And I would absolutely say that that is for certain about this industry. It certainly is one that teaches you things that you don't learn any other way, but they are skills that I believe are literally a gift. And it is a really beautiful industry for that and many other reasons. But let's talk a little bit about how it's changed over the years. You were in the industry in your teen years. You've obviously then gone into a career and you've come back into the industry now, as an adult, as someone who's experienced other industries that are very, very different. Has the industry changed, or did you find coming back into it in this capacity that, you know what, it was very much the same as it was when you were in high school? How has it changed, or how has it stayed the same?
It has stayed the same a lot. It has changed a lot. It has changed in that everything is now being technologically disrupted by orders of magnitude every year, sometimes every month. And the channel has certainly experienced that, felt that. Game changers like during COVID, game changers like with more direct to consumer online websites. So that change and that's emblematic of every single industry. I mean, you can name it, and that has happened. And the online economy has made things a little more impersonal. And I don't think anyone at the expense of it's been made impersonal for the sake of convenience. Because things can come faster now, and you can accomplish something, get something delivered in seconds. So things have become impersonal. And there's a whole kind of separate sociological piece of that it's just made so many people more introverted, and you have an eye on your children and how much screen time they're having. So that has taken root. So that change is definitely there. And when I was selling ACN wireline service, it was word of mouth. It was face to face, right? Nothing can replace face to face. I still say it in my sleep. And it was demonstrating the power of the service and what it does. And that there was only one way to do it, and that was in person. That game has entirely changed. But I go, Sam, to multiple gatherings of different fields every year, 300, 400, 500 salespeople, mostly female at the beauty shows and lip gloss demonstrations and everything. And I absolutely love it. And you see the content that these amazing people, these amazing women are creating. And they're doing it in the hallways of hotels when they come out of a session. And that's very, very different, obviously, than me going to X dorm building and knocking on a door saying, can I talk to you for 5 minutes about changing phone service? A little bit different. So that change has happened, but there's beauty in that change because the reach is greater and it creates a bigger community, I think, that hopefully convenes once or twice a year so people can actually learn from each other, learn what the best demonstrative tactic is for selling whatever a product is that's just been rolled out. It is the same in that there is a triumph of the human spirit in direct selling. And I don't mean that to sound like a televangelist, right? On a pledge drive. I mean that in the most, I think, deep way, because you can find those shreds of energy and extrovertedness and connection with people to whom you sell and to people with whom you collaborate. You're not sitting behind a computer. You are, I mean, if you are, you're recording yourself and your face and your voice and you're putting it out there.
Yeah.
And you are the person trying to connect with someone who could, through you, become healthier or prettier, right? Or have more stamina or more energy, could save money. And all of those factors make this the most powerful distribution channel in the world. And I think everybody associated with it agrees with that.
Yeah.
And the fact that everybody who does it, in our opinion, is an independent contractor and not beholden to a boss, punching a time card, doing things not on your own calendar. It gives you that beautiful flexibility to have your own life and to do this your own way. COVID was a real force multiplier of that. And we saw that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know that the industry has changed a lot. What do you think, though, going forward is the greatest opportunity for the industry?
I think right now there is a great amount of adaptability that I think is necessary for a lot of DSA member companies.
Yeah.
And we represent some of the major names in the U.S. That adaptability is especially with artificial intelligence, it is really forcing some of these incredible marketing and product minds to calibrate in a whole different way and to stay ahead of the game. And there are so many different ways, Sam, now to find a person, to market to a person, to reach out to them on email, to ping them on Instagram, right? To friend them on Facebook. And that kind of breadth makes developing a loyal consumer base far more challenging.
Yeah.
So how are you going to innovate to find those customers, to find those able and skilled salespeople, to develop them, to help teach them, to cultivate them and bring them along the way? Those are all huge market challenges. And then from a regulatory and legislative front, there are challenges everywhere, and I can get into those. But this market is very different than it was in the 90s. It's very, very different. And again, choice and availability and just the world at your fingertips, and the light speed aspect that people can use now to find what they're looking for, to throw it in Gemini or Claude or Chat and just say, I'm looking for X, find me a way to get X right away. And how does this channel adapt to that kind of lightning speed ease? Yeah. It cuts through the cultivation that we're so good at. So a lot of those challenges.
Yeah. I think, so many challenges that are going on right now. And I know that you are doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and we're not going to go into all of those things at the moment. We're certainly going to talk about one of the projects that you're working on at the moment shortly. But I would love to know from you, someone who's been in the industry early on, been out for many years, and then come back in at the capacity that you are, what would you say is one of the biggest misconceptions about the industry right now from your observations?
The misconceptions that I hear the most in front of state and federal governments are the ones that have been around forever.
Yeah.
And the ones that I think are going to be around for a while. And I heard it a number of times through this negotiation that we're doing around a bill in the state of Delaware that was generated and written because of these misconceptions.
Yeah.
It is thrown in your face that we are an industry that games people and plays to their insecurities and plays to their necessities and takes advantage of it.
Yeah.
And you know, Sam, that happens. And that happens everywhere. That happens in every single industry, product, service, no matter what it is, under the sun.
Yeah.
We're bad actors. We know we have them. A DSA exists to eradicate them. We have a code of ethics. We have a self-regulatory organization, right? We have self-policing. We teach it. But to hear these historic words still be used makes you wince.
Yeah.
And especially me, because I lived in this. But there are people who have these, some of them are born, as with this Delaware lawmaker who introduced this bill, some of them are born from personal experiences that their family experienced, where they're, according to their telling, there was somewhere in their family past when they committed income to a direct selling opportunity that turned out to be not what it was painted to be.
Yeah.
And we condemn that. You have lawmakers who, I think in an increasingly older segment, still saying multi-level marketing is predatory and it's wrong and you take advantage of it, on and on. And you just kind of have to deal, you have to just bite your tongue, you have to let them get it out. And then, Sam, what I have always done in the advocacy sphere is you try to validate the passion behind their words if their words are meritorious and legitimate. If it's a soundbite, you do your best. If it's someone who experienced a hardship or a negative experience with the channel, you hear them out. And we did that in Delaware. The proposed legislation would put much tighter guardrails around reporting requirements for direct selling companies, notice requirements, and all manner of pretty burdensome and laborious new things. Sunlight is always good, right? And transparency is always good. And we were trying to find a middle ground with these Delaware lawmakers to just kind of find that happy balance between consumer protection and keeping industry practices enshrined in a way that was not going to deprive customers and sellers of the opportunity to move great products and to experience great products on the consumer side.
Yeah.
And a couple of the pieces of testimony that were anti-direct selling were from people who had, there was one woman who said that she, if I'm remembering this correctly, because there was a lot of them, but one woman said that she was in a diaper aisle at a supermarket and that she's on food stamps and leading a very difficult life. And that there was somebody there who pretended to be sympathetic and to try to rope her in to a direct selling business opportunity that turned out to be a nightmare scenario for her. This is their telling.
Yeah.
And I believe I testified after some of these people and some of these stories, and I said, well, that's wrong. And no one detests behavior like that more than those of us in the direct selling channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why we want to work with everybody, including Congress, including law enforcement, to stop those people.
Yep.
But to go back to your original question, to bring this all the way back around, those stereotypes are fewer and more far between, but they're historic.
Yeah.
And they're lazy, Sam. They're lazy for you to go in to a progressive lawmaker's office who cloaks themselves in a consumer protection cape. Everybody is for consumer protection. I don't know anybody who isn't, but to weaponize it and to say your industry hunts people, well, that's wrong. But you have to be patient.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the podcast episode. I've got a very important announcement and something you want to know about, because I'm going to answer a question that I get asked every single day. And that is, how do I start conversations that turn into sales? How do I start more conversations that convert? Well, I'm going to be running a free masterclass coming up where I'm going to share with you the formula, a simple formula anyone can use to start meaningful conversations that lead to sales, recruits, and business growth. If you want to learn how to do that, then all you need to do is register for your free seat to come and join me. Remember, this is a live-only experience, and once this is over, it's over. We won't be repeating it. So come and join me. Grab your free seat at oksano.me. That's www.oksano.me. We'll also put the link in the show notes with this episode for you, but make sure you come and join me there. I can't wait to see you and share with you how to start more conversations that convert. Let's get back to the podcast. The legislation, just for those that don't know much about this, I think it's important to understand because we're going to talk a little bit about the work that you're doing to change this perception of the industry at the moment. But the legislation essentially will make it harder for companies and people in this industry to have their own independent businesses. Do you want to explain a little bit more about that just briefly so
Yes.
people understand what the risk is if this all goes through? And then, of course, off the back of that, if you could also share, is there a risk that this could spread beyond Delaware?
Yes, great questions. So but a piece of distinction. So the Delaware legislation I just mentioned, that bill seeks to put stronger reporting requirements around our companies.
Yep.
So that one is not central to independent contractor status. That is trying to kind of tighten some screws around company behavior. But
Yep.
the bills that we are seeing that are starting to pop up more and more are pieces of legislation that take aim at independent contractor status being used and utilized and perceived by direct sellers and by lawmakers and by consumers. Loosely translated, we find the independent contractor nature of direct selling to be sacrosanct, to be what makes it so powerful.
Yeah, it's easy to have a business in this space, right? It's not complicated. You're not signing a whole lot of legal paperwork. You're not having to prove yourself and get loans and pay oodles of money to do it. You can easily have your own business.
You can do it. You can do it on your own, like I did. You develop a relationship, or you just do outreach to any entity in the channel and say, I want to give this a try. I think I have what it takes. I love your products. I want to put them in the hands of more Americans.
It's essentially risk-free, right? No major outlay with most companies. You can jump in, have a business.
With the great majority of companies. Yeah. And, we can get into inventory loading and how the channel is moving away from that. And there's all manner of buyback provisions now. But, and I'll go one level deeper to make this even more scary. But progressive lawmakers want to, if you kind of look at the two-party system in the US and almost anywhere, conservatives like free and open markets and capitalism. The more liberal legislators want to look at consumer protection and helping out those less fortunate and using government in a way that is available here and for people. And a lot of our detractors not in government, but in the private sector, and they've been around for a while and they're smart people, but they will never give us a fair shake. And a lot of them are trying to motivate lawmakers, especially in more progressive states, right? In the northeastern part of the US, where you have Connecticut and Massachusetts and New York, Delaware, Rhode Island. These are pretty, as we call them, blue and left-leaning states, to try to push the theory of direct selling is really an employer and employee-based relationship based on these factors. And direct selling companies are depriving sellers of benefits that they are due. Overtime, retirement, healthcare benefits, on and on and on. So direct selling companies, you're cheating consumers. We're going to try to put into a state statute or into federal law provisions that clarify that direct sellers are employees. Well, there's nothing we disagree about more. And we have started at IAB an incredible campaign of story sharing by direct sellers who are talking about why being an independent contractor perfectly fits into their lives.
Yep.
The single mom who has to pick up multiple kids a day, can't go to an office, can never go to, well, at least for years, can't go to an office. There's no chance that she can balance her life that way. But in between school pickup and making lunches, she can sell an incredible essential oil or a vitamin.
Yep.
We have parents of special needs children who have shared their stories, and we're putting them all on dsa.org, and they're incredible. And our great partners at SunWest PR and my colleague Brad Reichard and Richard Brook have all helped with this to find people who are energized
Yep.
and excited to talk about why being an independent contractor fits their life, and they're good at what they're doing. And again, they're making America prettier and healthier and live longer. And they couldn't do this if they were restricted
Yep.
to an employee regimen. So Sam, you're seeing those bills that are seeking to pull this entire channel under an employee definition. And what you're also seeing, which is even more difficult and daunting, you are seeing enterprising plaintiffs' law firms finding direct sellers or former direct sellers and convincing them that they were wronged and that they should join a big class action against direct selling company X.
Yeah.
And that this big class of plaintiffs should come together and file in the state court system across America, or to put it in a state statute, language saying these lawsuits that would give them rights and monies that they were deprived because they were not considered an employee when they should have been. And our companies, Sam, are being forced to settle for millions of dollars in these lawsuits. And you are seeing, to your question moments ago, there is contagion there.
Yeah.
That more states are going to try to gin up these class actions, and DSA is all over the map.
Yep.
Finding these where they are, putting together grassroots, and going after them.
Yep. So, I mean, this is a really big deal. I want people to understand how important it is for everyone to come together here, because this is not just about Delaware and parts of the US. This is a global phenomenon. I know that we've had similar challenges in Australia that the DSA have been advocating for as well, and they've been working very, very hard at that. And I want to remind people that you've done something really amazing, which is, you've said, this is not just about the corporate companies. This is also about the field. I want to talk a little bit more about the stories that you're gathering. I think this is amazing. This is also, by the way, an incredible way for us to spread positive word about the industry, to also grow the industry in other ways other than to, fight some of these bills. But how are you gathering these stories? How can people contribute? Tell us a little bit more about that, because I'd love to get those listeners right now who are thinking, oh, I have a little story about this industry has changed my life. If they're thinking that maybe their story isn't big enough or important enough.
It is. Stop. Yeah. Pause. But no matter what their story is, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's big enough and important enough. The best way to do this, it's a little unconventional, but it's kind of who I am, is to reach out to me directly. I have one phone number. I welcome calls, texts. All of them are better than emails. I answer every one of them. I want to meet as many people as I can in this magnificent distribution channel. Mm-hmm. I will say my number. So I'll say my number twice really quickly, then we'll go back to this. It's DC area code 202-380-2203. Again, 202-380-2203. I have an incredible team.
And we'll put it in the show notes too, just in case anyone's like, oh my gosh, I was driving and I missed that, or I was out walking.
And we can also, I can also connect anyone with my colleagues who are putting together this incredible inventory and then splicing and editing and stitching together these stories. And we did this as part of the America 250 this year, our 250th anniversary. That was 2 days ago on July 4th, we're kind of putting it together with the stories of American grit and how this country was founded by early pioneers, by post-World War II families and post-Depression families who were starting to feel hopeless.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the Fuller Brush Company. And this goes back to those incredible pioneers like Brownie Wise and early Tupperware and the DeVos and Van Andel families under Amway, and finding out how those connections and the American spirit can really do anything. And with our 250th anniversary, it was a really great parallel and coincidence that we're running this now. And Sam, these stories are evergreen.
Yeah.
They're incredible. They almost bring emotion to people when they hear them. And there's so many different ways that they're impactful. Yeah. I went to the Senegence seminar in Alabama last year, 400 incredible women. And a lot of these women have come to know that community and these annual Senegence shows as the best moment of their years.
Yeah.
And they've met Senegence sisters, Sena sisters, through all of this and developed new little micro families.
Yep.
Right? And you can't, I'm sure the pharmaceutical industry has incredible people and incredible salespeople. And I'm sure that tech also does and manufacturing also does. Ours rise to the top.
Yeah.
Our stories of community.
You walk into a pharmacy, you buy your product, you leave, you never have a connection to a human
Correct.
being. It's
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's right.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this. I think anyone who's listening to this that has a story to share, please contact Dave, share that story. We'll put some details in the show notes with how you can go about doing that with the phone number you just gave out. That is very unconventional, Dave, but I'm going to put it out there. If he's given it to you, use it, because don't think your story doesn't matter. Don't think that you've got, because it's only a little old you don't have a part to play in helping take this industry to the next level, to help this industry thrive. It's going to take a village here. And the thing to keep in mind, I just want to point this out, is that the industry hasn't changed. As you said, Dave, the behavior hasn't changed, but what has changed is that there is a big microscope now, which is called social media and online. And bad behavior once upon a time, which still existed, was in someone's living room. It was that person that invited everyone over for dinner and then rolled the whiteboard out halfway through, and everyone sat there and went, oh my gosh, I had no idea that's what I was here for, right? We all know that story. But now it is online. And this means that we've got a bigger fight on our hands because everyone can see it. And so, first of all, we have to be very mindful of those few that are doing the wrong thing, that are giving a bad name to the great many. And again, that's where we use our companies, we use the DSA, we ensure that we are helping keep everybody playing on a level playing field here, but keeping the integrity of this industry and playing by the rules so that these sorts of problems don't arise. But the second part to that is ensuring that you're showing up in support of the industry as much as you can, because it is an opportunity that you can't get anywhere else. And so sharing your stories is really important. On that note, though, I do want to talk a little bit just before we finish up about Hill Day. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's also an incredible initiative.
On September 23rd this year, as we've done in past years, members of the field come to DC en masse, giant groups. And we put together meetings with lawmaker offices, federal lawmaker offices in the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, and we deploy. And we go talk to them and talk to their staffs. We don't push a heavy agenda.
And when you say you're not just talking corporates here.
100. It'll probably be more than 100 this year. 100 people over 80 meetings in the span of one day. And let us sit down and put some faces to those sometimes cruel stereotypes that you put on the channel. Just give us 30 minutes. And you have these amazing women in their pink Mary Kay blazers and other colors and symbols of other great. companies and products, and we walk Capitol Hill, and they see me every day, and I have credibility and longstanding experience and relationships, but I am nothing compared to these salespeople. Nothing. And they come in, and you'll meet and nowadays, Sam, the knee-jerk association with direct selling is usually lawmakers over 40, over 45. Staff members, government staff members over 40. It trends more that way. And you will see faces light up from a congresswoman who remembers her aunt pulling a wagon, selling a product, having small tea parties in the home to talk about whatever the product is. You see it. And it's really cool. So that's September 23rd. We do all the legwork. We plan all these meetings. It is a gargantuan project that we do, but it's putting our best foot forward.
Yeah.
Without lawyers and lobbyists and everybody else. I mean, anybody is welcome anytime. I say to people from the field, you come to DC, I'll try to even pick you up at the airport, and I'll take you to meetings myself, just to give some diversity, to get them away from seeing me and, others who are here doing this full time.
Yeah.
So that's Hill Day, and it's very great.
Yeah. I love that it's not just about corporate. It's incorporating those that are out there doing the work, growing the business, running the family, the everyday human being that really truly represents this industry. Dave, we've got quite an array of listeners to this podcast. We've got people in corporate executive positions. We have got people in the field, and probably many people outside of that as well that sort of listen on in going, do I want to be part of this industry? Is this, they're feeling it out. So I think this is a really great episode for those people to listen to as well, to understand, what this industry really does stand for. But for anyone listening today, corporate executive, distributor alike, if there was one thing that they could do to help strengthen this profession over the next year, what would you ask them to do?
Get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved. We listen, here's what we haven't, here's the elephant in the room. Here in the US, we are experiencing a political environment that no one has ever seen before. No one knows what's coming next. All the old rule books have been thrown out. We have a president, Donald Trump, love him or hate him. He is a wrecking ball. And that's not said by me in a pejorative way or a mean. He took the norm. He took the norms of American politics and knocked them down. Wrecking ball, battering ram, right? I mean, dynamite, whatever it is. And he was elected twice. So he tapped into something that people didn't see, didn't realize. It was an undercurrent through 70 million Americans in the last election, or whatever his total was. But, and again, love him or hate him, depending on, doesn't matter. What it has done is it has pushed both political parties more and more apart.
Yep.
And I like to talk about the absolutely disgusting practice for a kind of traditionalist and American political purist who grew up watching the camaraderie and collegiality and friendship between our previous leaders. And again, this is nothing personal or accusatory against Donald Trump, because this is both sides. Politics now is a sport of revenge. It's a sport of blood and pain, and I'm going to get you back. And it never used to be that way up until within, like, I guess, the last 10 years or so. It's not Trumpian, although he's masterful at weaponizing things and using the media. I mean, there will be college courses taught in the School of Communications and the School of Political Science about Donald Trump for a century, about how he does this. Every news cycle is 100% about him. But the politics of revenge are going to snap back against the channel because this November, Congress has its midterm elections. Presidential election isn't for 2 more years. Congress, it's every 2 years. President's every 4. This November is the midterm congressional election. It has historically been an indictment against the sitting president of the time. It's the way for the public through the ballot box to weigh in on how the president is doing. And if they're upset at the president, they throw his people out of their congressional seats. So right now, Trump's poll numbers are not great. And and Republicans control the House of Representatives and the Senate and the White House. All of the data and the polling and the smart numbers are that Democrats are going to take back one of the houses of Congress or both, the Senate and or the House of Representatives. When that happens, the politics of revenge that I just articulated are going to absolutely overwhelm certain industries in this country that are perceived to have received a free pass under the presidency of Donald Trump. Crypto is way up there. Pharma is way up there, right? Manufacturing in terms of artillery sales and military procurement, that's right up there. Direct selling is up there. We've been told this. The direct selling channel continues to operate in a wild, wild west reckless manner. We are going to start passing laws reining you all in. And if in November, progressive Democrats take over, they're going to want to do what I mentioned about half hour, 40 minutes ago. They're going to want to tighten. They're going to want to tighten the screws around the channel. And that is why we need stories, help, involvement, buy-in, everything from people on listening to your podcast and everyone in the field who have said, I don't need to worry about DC. I need to worry about it. Trump's in the White House. He's the greatest direct seller in American history. What do we have to worry about? Well, Trump has the power to do executive orders. Congress has the power to make laws. And they will be coming after us.
So get these stories out there now. This is not a let's fight it after it becomes a problem. Let's fight it now before we're dealing with it. So we're going to put all of those details in the show notes. I feel like, Dave, we could keep talking about this. I've got so many more questions for you, and it's really fascinating to hear more about what is going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure our listeners are really leaning into this as well. If you're not, you should be, because this impacts all of us. But we do have to wrap up, and I know you're a very, very busy man. You've taken time out of your busy schedule to come and share with us today and tell us a bit about what's going on. So really appreciate you. I've got 4 final questions, my favorite questions I ask every guest. I'm going to do these in quick rapid fire for you. First one is, what is your favorite book or your book of the moment for us to add to our accelerator book list?
My favorite book is Charlie Wilson's War. It is about Congressman Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson was a congressman in the 80s and 90s who saw the Russian invasion of Afghanistan and saw the Afghans trying to fight Russian military helicopters with sticks and stones and rifles. And he used his position in Congress to appropriate covertly, completely covertly, funding and relief to the Afghanis to arm them to fight back and to push the Russians out of Afghanistan. And he did it in a way where everything I've talked to you about, Sam, he was the most beloved member of Congress. Nobody could outdrink him. He was the last guy to leave the bar, and everyone loved him, and he called in every favor he had. And this book is a winding road. And there's a movie, and Tom Hanks plays Charlie Wilson. It is a winding road about how he went on this personal crusade and pulled the levers in Washington to stop what would have been a massive spread of communism into the Middle East.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Charlie Wilson's War.
So we'll add that one to the list. I love it. Second question is your favorite quote?
That's easy. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's so an old, they say it's an African proverb. I don't know I don't know the origin of it. Nothing is more true. And look,
so relevant for what we've just talked about.
There's nothing more true. And I tell it to my kids all the time. And the other one, Sam, 90% of life is showing up
Yeah.
all the way,
Yeah.
all the way.
Someone wrote a good book about that, I think, recently.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up. Yeah. So next question is, if you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would that be and why?
It would be to shoot and spread optimism and personal touch and connection to everybody.
Yeah.
Shake hands, hug people more. If you haven't seen them in a while, express what's inside of you if you genuinely care about a person.
Yep.
See the glass is half full, not half empty. Don't be a downer, right? It spreads like a malignant virus when you are not smiling, when you are not pleasant. Bring those qualities out in other people. I would instill this through some sort of serum or antidote. Sam, I'm the kind of person that I say good morning. I don't even say hi. I say good morning to people I walk by. If it's a guy cleaning the streets, if it's a police officer, it's contagious. It's so cliched, but it's so true.
So true.
It's contagious. Can drive people nuts. Which, my kid drives my son's crazy. Stop saying hello to everyone.
But it is infectious, and it is such a true point as well.
Yes.
And if it affects you, that's one thing I will point out about that is it's not just about the people that you're speaking to or that you're doing that for. It's changing your own attitude first.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important to remember. Last question, because I know that you've got a race, but if you could go back in time and say one thing to your past self, Dave, what would that be?
I'd stay in the direct selling. Honestly, and this isn't just stay in the direct selling channel. I built an incredible movement. And then I graduated college and I was like, well, this was in college and it accomplished the goal that it accomplished. Looking back now, Sam, good Lord, do I wish I would have stayed in it. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, I wish I was in it for all the right reasons. I was in it for necessity, turned into love.
Yeah.
Turned into love, and I was helping people. So that's one thing. Just keep going. Just keep going. And the other thing, Sam, I have a lot of excess energy. I don't smell the roses very often. So I would encourage my old self and everybody. We all move so fast now. We all go 120 miles an hour. Are you stopping to notice the mundane? Yeah. Are you stopping to look at the little things? Are you stopping to kiss your daughter on the forehead one more time? Seems small and petty, but I would tell myself to slow down. Yeah. I love my life. I love my family. I love what I do. So it's the sum total of everything I've done has landed me here. But I think I've gone too fast, too often. So
Yep. I hear you. Really great point. I will just say one last thing to that though, Dave. I'm really glad that you did leave the direct selling industry, because had you not got that experience, you wouldn't be able to fight and advocate for the industry in the way that you are now. And I think
it was in my DNA.
It was so needed and so important. So we thank you so much for all of the incredible work that you and your amazing team are doing. You've got a lot of really amazing people behind the scenes as well that are doing awesome things. So huge shout out to them. We're also going to link as well to the video that you and Brad and the team have put together, which is you played that at a recent convention that you and I were
did
both
it at DSU
at.
And a major hat tip to Stuart Johnson and Trisha White and that incredible team at Direct Selling News. And we put it on their stage and everyone saw it.
Yeah. So it was a really great little snapshot video. I would really encourage you to watch it. It shares a little about the history of this industry as well as, moving forward. And I think history is important to understand. And it was a real eye opener. I loved it. It's beautiful, beautifully put together. So we will share that in the show notes for anyone that wants to check that out. But thank you again so much for joining us today, Dave. I so appreciate you and everything that you do. So thank you for coming and sharing and answering my many questions today. We appreciate you.
Absolute pleasure, Sam. I hope to be back at some point. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. And thanks, of course, to our beautiful listeners for tuning in today. Remember, you have got the power to do something. So go ahead, share a video, share a testimonial about how this industry has impacted you. And if you are a company, make sure that you are teaming up to be a part of the movement of what the DSA is doing to help this industry as well. So thank you again so much. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you all on the podcast again next week. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode gave you more clarity, courage, or strategy to show up online, please make sure that you subscribe and follow so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And of course, share this message with someone else that might need to hear it. But that's it for us from now. We'll see you next week.